Yeah.
This really is an odd story, and it kind of feels like we're missing something. Caro 7 TV said there are some shoppers who go to Gold Bar Family Grocer. It's obvious it's Gold Bar, so we're talking about a very small grocery store in a very small community. And they said that they don't feel safe shopping there anymore because they don't like a t-shirt that one of the employees was wearing over the weekend. Now, before you say, why would a t-shirt trigger you? Dum-dum, what's going on? Well, the t-shirt says, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, the first part could have just been, it's the lyrics from the song. Starting a little early, why don't we get into Thanksgiving time first and then we can do Christmas? No, he meant literally a white Christmas, according to the t-shirt. It includes an image of a holstered gun. So people are obviously concerned. A photo of this t-shirt started to spread on social media. And again, for a post to come out of Gold Bar that gets shared a lot has to really outrage people.
Population of Gold Bar.
Oof. This one's too small. I'm not going to be able to get it, but 740?
2,400.
Oh, is it that large?
Yeah.
Am I thinking Index?
I think so.
Well, now find out the population of Index.
I feel like Index is...
So here's Lynn. She goes to this store. She's lived in Gold Bar for a long time. She told Caro 7 TV.
I've lived here 39 years, and I've been embarrassed by things in this town before, and this is so far beyond that.
She doesn't seem to have much pride in Gold Bar. I've lived here for 73 years, and every second of it has been miserable with embarrassment. Now, Caro spoke with the manager at the grocery store. He apparently told them repeatedly, no comment, but added that they don't condone their employees' actions. So it sounds like this is a guy who decided to wear this t-shirt, not maybe thinking that it would cause problems, which is an odd thought to have given the content of said t-shirt. And it's a personnel matter. You've got a small grocery store, doesn't probably even know how to handle this kind of press coverage, but also the ensuing virality of the image, probably leading to them getting a whole bunch of phone calls. I feel a little bit bad for them because I'll go with the fact that they didn't approve of this, and now they have to deal with it. Like they didn't bring this upon themselves unless we find something out about this unnamed grocer who, I don't know, has he done this in the past? Is this the first time that he's actually been caught? Has he said anything that would lead the folks there to believe that he might be a racist? Is this a joke, like a bad joke? It just, something feels off about this story to me. And then you have folks who are jumping into the fray who want to pretend that this is an issue of free speech.
Didn't everybody fight for our freedoms, for free speech, and to be able to do what we want here?
You know, I wouldn't really die on a hill to support this particular message, but if this was a government agency, you might have a point. There are still some limits to speech. It's very, very narrow, the limitations, but this is a private business. The business gets to decide what it wants to do in either direction, and the public gets to decide what it wants to do in response. So perhaps Jessica would get mad, and I obviously don't know her. I'm going to assume she does not agree with the message, but does support just a general free speech, sees this as a general free speech issue. But they should fire this person in a heartbeat unless there's some weird explanation that we just don't have. I would fire this person in a heartbeat. You're in, number one, a public-facing role. How dare you wear a shirt like that? Number two, you're in a public-facing role. How dare you wear a shirt like that? And then number three, I just wouldn't want to be around someone who holds those kinds of views. You get to fire someone for doing that. Absolutely. Now, again, the reason in this story I'm giving myself a little bit of wiggle room is because something seems like people don't normally just wear a shirt that says, I hate black people or I hate Jews. They usually maybe have like if you're going to wear it, a symbol that only white supremacists kind of know. It's usually not as explicit.
Yeah, it's very, very direct.
I've never heard of anyone wearing a shirt this explicit before, telling a message. Like, even if it was just the statement, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, minus the KKK stuff, you could easily, it could be like that insider white supremacy. If you know, you know. Everyone else is like, oh, it's the song lyrics. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Oh, yeah, I hope it snows too. So it's just something feels off to me on this one. It's certainly possible that it's also a case of, no, sometimes people are just dumb. You know dumb people.
I mean, yeah, there definitely are dumb people out there.
Nothing stupider than people.
But do you find it interesting? I think this is Cairo 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're kind of weighing both sides of this. I mean, how many stories do we see one-sided coverage of? To even go into the First Amendment angle in here I think it's a little bit interesting.
In fairness, if you are going to two sides the Hamas terrorism, I guess you two sides this too. Because they're both equally horrible. White supremacists
Well, that's what
and
I'm
Hamas
saying, yeah.
terrorists. I mean, no, they're not equally horrible. One is worse because they kill. But their views are equally disgusting. They did, however, for some reason in this story, mostly because they probably also were wondering if there's something else here that we're missing and they need to fill 2.5 minutes of space for their feature. So they decided to reach out to a Seattle University communications professor, Caitlin Carlson, who wants us to know that she's aware that the statement itself is hateful. And I'm an expert in this. I have a degree, so I can tell you with certainty, KKK is bad. It's bad. But then she says something that's just false.
The KKK is a hate group.
True.
And so this messaging is very much hate speech, but it is allowed
True.
under the First Amendment.
Okay. She's clearly framing this around the law. She's clearly framing just in a general sense the words, right? But in the context of the story, she's 100% incorrect. And in the context of the law, she's 100% incorrect. Don't go to a communications professor to talk about legal stuff. Again, I have seen every good season of The Practice. I know a thing or two about this.
Boston Legal, too.
But, well, I wouldn't even say they had one good season. But yes, I did watch that in Ally McBeal. And, I only watched the second half of Law & Order. There's no such thing from a legal perspective as hate speech. That does not exist. It does not exist. It is a contrived phrase to express speech that you do not like that is hateful. Hate speech is not a legal term. So when you use it in the context of the First Amendment and what is or is not permitted, you can't say, well, hate speech is permitted. Hateful speech, you mean. Hate speech, it's not a thing. Number two, this is not a story about the First Amendment. This is not a story about your freedom to say what it is you want to say. This is a story about a business dealing with an employee who sure seems like an anti-Semite, a bigot who hates black people and Asians and Latinos, and just the list goes on and on. If you're not, I'm assuming homophobe as well. I'm just throwing it all in there based on that shirt. Oh, is that unfair to judge? Okay. Oh, no. But this is not an issue about the free speech rights of this individual. Here's more from our communications professor who doesn't know hate speech isn't a thing.
The employer wanted to tell the employee not to wear that, again, to wear a particular uniform, not to engage in potentially open carry, right? They would be well within their rights to do that. I would definitely be asking the employer why it is they're allowing this person to come to work and potentially offend or upset customers with this attire.
Now, that, of course, is an assumption. You have no idea if they allowed it. They might not have even known about it. That's my assumption. If they're willing to come out publicly and say, we obviously don't support this or condone it, my guess is, had they known he was wearing the shirt, they would have said something. It is hard to see the shirt because he's wearing a an apron
Vest. Is it a vest? Or?
It wasn't a vest. It looked
Okay.
like an apron. Those the grocer aprons,
Yeah.
like if you're a produce person. So much of it was covered, and you can't really tell all of it unless you Google the shirt and then find out what it is. So they might just have missed it. Don't know if this guy still works there. We're going to reach out and get rejected, but we will still reach out and try to get someone to come on the show. Make sure you tell them it's a conservative talk station hosted by someone who, if you fired the guy, he's on your side. Don't worry.